Happy Self Love Sunday. Today I want to talk to my middle aged people, those who have mastered doing hard things, who has built an entire life around making the impossible look effortless. Happy Self Love Sunday. I'm Tarnisha Mosash, your host of Self Love Sundays with Sass. I am your certified vision strategist coach who comes every single Sunday so we can talk about all the ways in which we can better our best. And yeah, I want to talk to my middle-aged folks who, you've mastered doing hard things. Listen, we've been doing we've been doing hard things, especially if you're like the Gen Xers. We've been doing hard things since we was 10, okay? And so it's those people who don't crumble on the pressure, who always rise to occasion. You lead, you serve, you deliver, and you hold it all together, and somehow you've become the person who everyone depends on. Come on, my middle children. My middle, how do I know? Because I am a middle child. The person who holds it all together, most times the black sheep, hold it together, right? And even when you're running on fumes, you're showing up for everyone else. But today I really want to ask you something real. Okay, just give me a second here. I really want you to stick this video out because there are some practical things that I'm going to give you in. But sometimes we're such in a rush to do everything for everyone else. We don't even take the time to sit to listen to the things that we need. And how do I know that you need this? Because if you are here listening to me, this is absolutely what you need to hear in this moment right now today. And so I wanted to ask you something real. When was the last time you checked if what you're holding still belongs to you? Because so often we're holding on to mental, emotional, spiritual, even physical aspects of things that served us in one season of our lives, but they're no longer, fit today. But when was the last time you checked to even know that? When was the last time you sat still enough to understand what's even happening in you or in around you? Because some of you really just aren't tired from what's new. You're exhausted from what's expired. You think it's, oh, because I'm going after the new goal. Oh, it's because, it's the new person in my life. Oh, it's because my kids are going through a new thing. No, what if it's you're exhausted behind what's expired in your life and you haven't let it go? Because overcommitment doesn't show up with warning lights. It's not like our car where you're driving and all of a sudden your tire is going flat and a symbol shows up. Overcommitment doesn't show up like that. It hides behind what you consider excellence, what you consider loyalty to others, and what you consider being the go-to person on your job. How many of us are the go-to person on our jobs? Everybody comes to you for everything, and then you wonder why it is that you're not the person that's promoted. Why the other people are getting promoted ahead of you. They've mastered something. And some of you have even gotten the promotions, but you hit the ceiling. And then you wonder why. And so eventually this capacity that you've built, this capacity to be the go-to person, this capacity to get all the projects, this capacity, yes, give it to me, I can handle it, I can do everything, I'm every woman, I'm the strongest man, I'm Superman, okay? Never realizing that Lois fell in love with Clark Kent and not Superman. I'm gonna let y'all pick that up at another time. You'll get it. Real talk. So the Wonder Womans of the world, this capacity eventually is going to become your cage. And that's what I want to talk about. And the same strength that once protected you is starting to suffocate what's trying to grow in you. Because behold, God is trying to do something new. I was reading in Isaiah, let me give my disclaimer really quickly. I'm not here to tell you who and what to believe in. And my prayer for you is that you have a firm foundation in whoever and whatever it is that you call your God. I'm not here to tell you that. For me, it is my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I will never shrink back from that, nor should you shrink back for yours. I'm just here to tell you that your firm foundation in faith and whatever it is that you believe in, stay rooted in that, because that's going to be the very thing that's going to help you in this thing that we call life. Because I don't know how many of you know that life be lifing, but it be lifing, okay? And so the firm foundation in faith is the very thing that saves me. And so I was reading in the Bible, and I was reading Isaiah 43, 18 and 9. And excuse me, I'm looking down because I'm looking at my notes. And it says, forget the former things, do not dwell on the past. Forget the former things, do not dwell on the past. That means that the things that has happened to you in the past, Sure, because a lot of times we get caught on that part, right? Where the past traumas, the past emotions, the things that has happened to us, good and bad, right? That's happened to us in our lives. We start thinking about that, the past people, right? Do not dwell on those things. But what about not dwelling on the things that you learned as you were learning how to survive and take care of you? And that's why you came up to this notion that I'm every woman. I'm every woman. I could do all things. Why? Because I don't trust people in my life to do anything. My men, you've learned to be the provider, protector. Meanwhile, you're not providing and protecting your own mental, emotional, and spiritual and physical health. And then you wonder why the family structure is breaking down and why everything is breaking down. It's because we are still dwelling on those things of the past, and they may have gotten us to where we are today, but they're not going to help us move forward into tomorrow, especially as we continue to age. Because as we continue to age, again, if I keep reading on, it says, see, I'm doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I'm making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland. Here's my thing, right? If God is trying to do a new thing, birth something new in you, a new idea, greater capacity for love, to receive, because you are my givers, to start to receive, to the love that you so desperately give out, but you don't receive it in because you don't really trust it. That's another story for another day. If he's trying to do a new thing, then what is it that you need to let go of to even make space to have the new thing? What is the thoughts that you have to let go of? What is the mindset that you have to let go of? What is the people that you're holding onto in your mind that you have to let go of? What is the hate that is ringing between your two ears? Because I'm telling you right now, I probably said it last week, but I'm going to say it again today. I am so tired of hearing in the pulpit, about let your haters be your motivators, and the haters and the haters and the haters and the haters. I am so sick of hearing it. And I'm going to tell you why I'm sick of hearing it. What I've come to learn is the biggest hater for us as individuals is us. If I'm lying, I'm flying. Okay. Tell me, no one can hate you more than you hate yourself. And how do I know this? Because when you don't show up for yourself, when you overcommit, when you're people pleasing, when you're not holding firm to your boundaries, when you're not moving your body and working out, and I'm not talking about, let me give a disclaimer, there are some people that things are happening in your life. I really want us to understand that I'm talking about people who are able, capable, and not those who are experiencing issues and problems, because I understand that. I'm a woman too that has a therapist. So I understand there are times in your life, especially for my perimenopausal and my menopausal women, okay? You're trying to do things and to shift and change, and there's something happening in your mental. But think about what I said. And even for my men, because it happens too, they call it midlife crisis, okay? So even for my men, when you hit that wall, how then can you love yourself? Get yourself in therapy. Get yourself with around a group of people who are experiencing what you're experiencing. Get yourself a doctor that can help you with their symptoms. So there's still ways. Behold, I'm trying to do a new thing. I'm trying to get you the help that you need. But what do you have to let go? What stubbornness that you have to let go of? Oh, I'm fine. I don't need to go to the doctor. Oh, that's just who I am. That's just accept me for who I am. Really? Because my whole thing is this: the whole purpose of life is growth. And with growth, there's growing pains. We get that. And on the other side of the growing pains is joy. How do I know that? I gave birth to 5 children. During the middle of the birth, I hated everything and everyone, okay, including Jesus. I said, I know you're not hitting me with this kind of pain. And they talking about Lamont's class, breathe. That breathing was not working, okay? However, I realized it was a distraction, but it didn't distract me from the pain. And the point is, once I had my children, the joy that came with that. So I understand that. But this is where I want to get you to today, especially in the month, because we are in the month of November. No, N-O, strong sentence. So let's talk about capacity, because you've proven that you can carry more than most people can even imagine. Okay, you've proven that. You can bring home the bacon, fry it up in the pan, take care of the kids, take care of the man, take care of the job. You did it, I done it, and nobody else can do it better than you. And that's why you're always the one who's showing up and doing everything for everyone else. But just because you can carry it doesn't mean you're called to. I'm going to say that again. You've proven that you can carry most things most people can't imagine. But just because you can carry it don't mean you're called to it. And most times we're so busy in the thing that we're not called to. That's why we can't get to where it is that we're supposed to go. And then we wonder why we're not feeling fulfilled in our emotions and up and down all over the place. Some of that is perimenopause and menopause, my ladies, but some of that is just that old stuff that we are holding on to. And then we use as diagnosis as the thing. Okay. And so high performers often, confuse endurance with alignment. And because we think surviving the successes of stress is proof that we're strong, just because we're surviving, first of all, who said you were supposed to survive it? Most times we're not even supposed to be in the thing. Most times we're so busy, we're being drained because we're doing things we're not supposed to do. We're out here playing God with people, if we're going to be honest. We're playing God to our children. We're playing God to our spouses. We're playing God to our boyfriend and girlfriends. We're playing God on the job. We're so busy. We're always in the way. Listen, I know some people who will do everything. Oh, this is my husband. This is my woman. I'm going to do any. Okay, but how about some of that stuff is God stuff? Some of that stuff is things that he wants to take care of. And then sometimes you wonder why you feel like you're exhausted and you're being dragged. That's because you're in the way. But strength without strategy just builds silent suffering because most of you are sitting in resentment of it. That's why when it's like, oh, no one's appreciative, in this, nobody appreciates what I do, and you're sitting in this resentment place. You're resentful because you're doing things that are out of alignment, you were not called to, and now you're upset about it. Who asked you? Who asked you? That's the question you have to ask yourself. You show up, you play the martyr, and then you're upset and you're resentful. So these are the things I need you to think about, because you don't need to prove your resilience anymore. You've already done it. You've already proved you've resilient. You've been knocked down enough times and got up enough times to prove that you are resilient. We don't need to, as a matter of fact, we need to stop proving and performing for everybody. And I'm not just talking about the masses, because people talk about, stuff that's on social media. I'm talking about within your family too. I'm talking about on that job too. Because if everything depends on you, something is off. If everything depends on you, something is off in your structure. Something is off. And the next level you keep praying for, I'm telling you right now, is going to require you to delegate, delete, or delay some things where necessary. It's going to require you to delegate, delete, or delay some things. And here's the things you once thought was necessary. You may have to start delaying these. You're going to have to delegate. You're going to have to let them kids be them kids. You're going to have to let them kids be them kids. And I was my mentor, evangelist Latrice Ryan. We were in a leadership series, and she was talking about how we have to stop, dictating and lecturing, and inviting our children, inviting the next generation. Because without a successor, we don't have any success. But we won't have that if everything depends on you. Got to take on every project, because without you, if it isn't done by you, it won't be done right. Who says that the way you're doing it is right for this season? Who says that the way you thought about doing it and the way you used to do it in 2015, who says it fits in 2025? That's the question. You may have to delete some things out of your computer, delete some things out of your house. Most importantly, delete those thoughts that are in your mind. Every morning we wake up with negative thoughts. If you don't believe me, sit in the morning and start writing things out. Just sit and get quiet for 2 minutes, put on the timer and write everything you're thinking. I guarantee you there are some negative thoughts there. And so we're going to have to work on deleting those things, and then delaying things you once thought was necessary. Sometimes we think so many things are necessary. Especially my entrepreneurs, I got to have all these things perfect, but they're not necessary. They're not necessary. And also want to make clear too, because my overachievers, y'all think, oh, this is about managing my time better. No, it's not. It's about managing your truth better. This is not about managing your time better. This is about managing your truth better. What is the truth? And so overcommitment sounds like success, but I promise you, it feels like suffocation. If you're being honest, you're suffocating. You're worn out, you're tired, you're exhausted. You want somebody to show up for you, but how can they if you don't let them? You're showing up in every room, but you're not showing up for yourself. You're going to all the conferences, but you're not showing up for yourself. Because you're an overachiever. Those people who they talk about, who are not consistent. Oh, you are consistent. You consistently show up for everybody else. You consistently go to all the things. You list all the personal development things. You're there. You're there. It's not you. You listen to the podcast. You're not scrolling on television. You're not just scrolling aimlessly. You show up and you do the things, but you're not showing up for yourself. You're meeting every deadline, but missing your own needs. Father God, you're meeting every timeline, every deadline. I'm sorry, but you're missing your own needs. Did you stop and ask yourself in the morning, what do I need today? I told you guys last week, and I'm going to tell you about it again. There's an app called What We Feel. It's free. Did you even check in with yourself? And I'm not just talking about the standard emotions, the standard things. What do you need today? What do you need to hear? What do you need to feel? What do you need? You train everyone else to expect your excellence, but you haven't trained yourself to expect ease and softness in your life. It always has to be hard. It's hard, it's hard, it's hard. That's a story. I know you're gonna hate me for saying that. What did she mean it's a story? I had to understand that for myself. I'm not coming here. I'm not a leader that leads from, above. I'm a leader from right beside you, right beside you. I had to learn that. That's why my book, Find Your Way, 7 Ways to Love and Heal Yourself, that's why it came about. Because I had to learn to surrender. I had been training myself for everyone expected excellence of me. I showed up in excellence with excellence. And I'm gonna tell you right now, all day, every day, and twice on Sunday, it was gonna get done if I was there. But I wasn't training myself to expect ease and softness and to receive the love that I was so given to everyone else. And I know ease feels foreign when you've built your worth around achievement. But ease has nothing to do with being lazy and not being productive and not showing up for people. It's leadership in its most evolved form. I need my leaders to hear that, especially my servant leaders. We all should be servant leaders because we think there is lazy or it's weak if we just take a day off, if we take care of ourselves, if we call out sick and really take care of our mental health that day. And I'm not just talking about going to get your hair, nails, and all that done. I'm talking about sitting with yourself and thinking. The top 1% of the world, you know what they have? They have thinking time. You know what our overcommitters have? No thinking time. And that's exactly why we're exhausted and overextended. But when you're truly leading at a high level, you're not supposed to do everything. You think the CEOs of companies are doing everything? They're not. They're not. They have departments upon departments doing things. They need time to do what? Think. That's why they have people doing the other jobs. You need time to think. You think your children won't show up, they will, but you have to stop doing. I had 6 of them in the house, 3 girls, 3 boys. I had to learn, oh, they will do it. When I learned to step back, me and my best friend were talking about this as well. He kept thinking, as a man, one of my friend is my best friend. I love my BF. Okay. He kept thinking like, no one's going to do it. No one's going to show up. I said, I promise you, if you take a step back, they'll do it. All the things that you were doing, they will show up and they'll do it, but you're in the way. And he didn't believe me. Well, guess what happened when he removed himself? He couldn't believe it. He was like, best friend, you told me. I said, yes. Because the thing is, if you've trained them to lean on you for every little thing, they don't have the capacity to show up for themselves. And most often you don't even realize you're saying they're not smart enough. They're not capable enough. Really? Your children, your spouse, your friends, your job, they're capable. I promise you right now, if you passed away tomorrow, they'll fill your seat at your job. They'll start looking for people the next day. I promise you they will. And the only reason why they want to do it the same day is because they didn't know what happened to you. It's the truth. You think it's about you if you don't do that project? No, you're wearing yourself out wanting people to see your worth. You got to know that. And so I'm just saying you're not supposed to do everything. Please hear me. You're supposed to decide what's worth doing. What is worth doing? Is it aligned in my purpose and rooted? Come on. Is it rooted in my purpose and aligned with who I said I'm becoming and what I said I'm going to do? You have to, is it worth doing? Because you can't keep calling it discipline when it's really depletion. You can't keep calling it discipline when you're feeling depleted. That's how you know. That's how you know. And so you've mastered capacity. You can stretch. You can handle it all. You've been handling it. But handling it has cost you. It keeps you calibrated to this chaos of being on this hamster wheel doing the same thing over and over again, hoping for a different result, hoping that they see you. But do you see you? hoping that they'll show up, but do you let them show up? Hoping that they'll love you the way you want to be loved, but do you even allow the love in? You keep saying you want it, you keep praying for it, and then every time it shows up, because I know it showed up for you, every time it shows up, you push it away. You have calibrated yourself to the chaos of doing the same thing over and over again, hoping for a different result. And today I'm here to tell you that that's insanity, and you don't have to be insane anymore. You don't. At this stage, it's not about how much you can hold. It's about what you're still holding on to. What are you still holding on to? What, even in your relationship, what are you still holding on to that gets to go so you guys can go to the next level of love? You said yes to so much that your nervous system doesn't recognize peace anymore. That's why you feel so chaotic. That's why you feel a lot of anxiety, depression. Your nervous system is like, this doesn't bring me peace anymore. Keep showing up in places and doing everything for everybody and putting on because I'm that girl or I'm that guy and I'm the man and I'm the woman. I'm every this. Yo, your nervous system is out of whack. Stillness feels wrong because you built identity around pressure. I know so many women that I coach, and I had to coach them out of this. Like if it's to be, it's up to me. I gotta do it. I'm this, and it's like, and then it's from a place of, oh, they said I couldn't do it. I'm going to show them. How long do you think you can continue with that? Listen. Let me tell you something. Everything that I birthed was birthed on that, so I know. Everything that I'm going to prove them wrong. I'm going to prove them wrong. But your nervous system doesn't recognize this as peace. You can't do it like that anymore. You're not even supposed to. And it's not leadership. It's survival disguised as success. It is not leadership. It is survival mode disguised as success. And so here's what I want you to understand. At the level you're called to, no, it's not protecting time. It's about preserving transformation. When you start to say no at this level, you're not rejecting opportunities, and I'm so tired of that. You're not rejecting opportunities. You're rejecting, let me tell you what you're rejecting, distraction, because the enemy's job is to wear us out. You're being worn out by the enemy and swear you're doing what God told you to do. And you think God will wear you out in such a way to where you're resentful, you're angry, you're overworked, underpaid, not fulfilled. There is no joy coming in the morning. And you think that's God? You think that's God? No. Every opportunity isn't your opportunity. Every opportunity, just because you can do it doesn't mean you're called. You're rejecting the distortion that's happening in your mind and your body. The version of you that hustled to be seen can't be led to the version of you that's meant to be remembered. The version of you that hustled to be seen can't lead to the version of you that's meant to be remembered. I need you to hear that. You don't listen. You don't need to say no to people. You need to say no to those patterns, those thoughts of over functioning, over proving, over managing what was never yours to control. Now we're gonna pretend we don't have no control issues. We're gonna pretend, okay, I'm gonna tell you something right now. Don't do that in here. This over functioning, over proving, not to everybody. And I get it. There was sometimes, listen, there was times, and again, it's in my book, where I did some really wrong things because I wasn't just a victim to some things. I actually victimized some people. And if we're being honest, we all do that in this thing called life, because we're just trying to strive to survive and to do our best. And it doesn't mean that it was intentional, but it's not about intent, honey. You may not have intent to do harm, however you did. And we got to get honest about that. And so I realized that it was control. What was I trying to control? Not being hurt. I was trying to control not being hurt. Can we be honest about that today? This is what we're walking around. And so because we're trying to control everything, this is why you're feeling this feeling of unworth, this feeling of not deserving, this feeling of like, why can't they see? Why can't they see me? They can't see you because you don't see you. They can't feel you because you don't feel you. You don't even have the emotional capacity for you. How can you expect somebody else to have it? You got to show up for you. You got to stay, you got to hold firm to your boundaries. I just had a revelation that I was upset about some things. And then when I peel back the onion layers, I realized I was upset because I didn't uphold my own boundaries. And I hadn't done it for so long. And then I'm upset that other people are upholding theirs. How does that make sense? They are holding their boundaries, hold tight to yours. And it's not about them and how they're going to treat you and what they're going to do. It's about how you feel about you when you keep betraying yourself over and over and over again. And you think that they're still going to show up different. They're not. You got to show up different. And this is what refinement looks like. It's the moments when your purpose stop competing with your pace. It's the moment when your purpose stop competing with your pace. My friend just said it to me today. Surrender your timeline. And so I'm going to give you three practical things for my high achievers. Okay. Number one, conduct the energy audit. List every commitment you're currently carrying, personal and professional. We have to look at both. And then I want you to ask yourself a question. Is this feeding my future or draining my focus? Is it feeding my future or draining my focus? If it doesn't multiply peace or purpose, it's time to release it. If it's not aligned with your core values, right? If it's aligned with your core values, that's what brings you peace. If it's not aligned with peace and purpose, you got to let it go, personally and professionally. And I don't mean just take a leap and just leave your job. That's not what I'm telling you to do. I'm telling you to make a plan. Make a plan. What is the plan? Give yourself a timeline. Work through that. Number one, conduct an energy audit. If it's not feeding your future, it's draining your focus. Number two, redefine availability. Stop confusing access with alignment. Just because they can reach you doesn't mean they should. Turn your phone off. My office hours, I feel like Big Red, and my office hours are 9 to 5. When he hung the guy over the balcony, I was in Five Heartbeats. For those of you who may be a little bit younger and don't remember the movie, when he hung the guy, Big Red, held him. What are your office hours? Turn your phone off. I just saw a really powerful woman. I think her name is Kiana Watson, out of Atlanta. She's a powerful real estate agent. She said she had to start turning her phone off because high achievers will burn out because of the lack of ability to manage access to you. I'm telling you, just because they can reach you don't mean they should. And sometimes that means those people are going, they're calling you for the fifth time to tell you about the same story over and over again because they can't figure out what to do about it. And they're not bad people. And it doesn't mean that, we have to talk bad about them, but they keep calling you over and over again, telling you the same thing over and over again. Yet again, I'm felon victim. I'm this and that. And all the story, all the same story. Don't pick up your phone. It's okay. They're a big boy, they're a big girl. They will figure it out. They will figure it out. Even for your children. Sometimes you got to. Let me tell you something. When I learned how to ride a bike, I would never forget it. It was my bike was called a Blue Angel. It had like that banana boat seat. Guess what? At some point, the training wheels had to come off, and then my aunt would hold the back of the bike, watch it, and then she would let go. If I fell, I fell. Well, what happened? I learned to get back up and keep going. And we didn't have all them knee pads back then. So that, yes, I got some scrapes and some bruises and it hurt. But I eventually, guess what? Learned how to ride the bike. And so will the people in your life when you decide to let them. You know what? I want you to look at everybody in your life that you currently are babying and nurturing and say, you know what? I don't think less of them. Because that's what you're saying, whether you know it or not. You think less of them. You think they don't have the ability or the capacity or the capability to be smart enough, strong enough to figure out this thing called life. That's exactly what you're saying. Exactly what you're saying. Okay. So I want you to what? Number one, conduct an energy audit. Number two, redefine availability. Number three, schedule margin like a meeting. Your mind needs space to breathe. Let me stop clapping my hands. Your mind needs space to breathe. Your creativity needs silence. If your calendar doesn't include recovery, you're managing activity and not growth. You are not growing if you're so busy being busy. Growth happens in the stillness, in the quietness. Listen, I will never forget, I was reading about Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett. I'm always intrigued about how they do their lives. They schedule thinking time, just time to think. That's it. That's all. not to read, not to write, not to show up for everybody, not to run the company, but to think. Now, most of them, and the more the newer CEOs, they have a real time morning regimen where they get up in the morning, whether they do their meditation, they do their journaling, they work out and move their bodies. A lot of them they're starting their days super early for sure. They're starting at that 5 o'clock in the morning, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And by the time they get ready for the office, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. But during that time, guess what they did? They took care of themselves and they allowed themselves the time to breathe. You have to give yourself time to breathe. And if you're not, you have to ask why. What are you trying to prove? To who and to what? Is it aligned with my core values? Is it aligned with my purpose? Designed to Win, The Pathway to Success for Tomorrow's Empowered Professional Woman. This book right here, this will help you design your life to win for my high achieving women. This will help you to understand how to give yourself that time to breathe. Okay. And so what are the three things again? That's conduct an energy audit. If it's not feeding your future, it's draining your focus. Redefine availability. Just because they can have access to you don't mean that they should. Turn that phone off, okay? And give your mind space to breathe. Schedule margin like a meeting. Give yourself time to recover. And so this is your reminder. You've already proven you can carry it all. Now it's time to prove you can carry peace. Can you carry peace? Can you carry peace within yourself? I'm not talking about outside of you. You've given peace to everybody else. You actually hold your tongue most times. You don't say the things that you really feel or what you want to say because you're so busy trying to manage and control and them not seeing you in a certain way. But you're getting tired of that. And that's why you're starting to lash out a little bit more. So you've proven that you can carry it all. So now can you prove that you can carry peace? Okay, because your yes has value and it's time for you to treat it like a currency. Your yes is worth $1,000,000. Are you treating it like that? Your yes is worth $1,000,000. Are you treating it like that? But let me tell you something about your no. Your no is worth 10 million. Because let me tell you something. Every time you say no, you add on another million to your yes. Clock it. Clock it. You can't walk into 2026 carrying what 2025 should have taught you to release. I'm going to say it again. You cannot walk, and this is why we're having this conversation in November. This is about saying no in the month of November. You cannot, because why? We're getting close to 2026. You can't go into 26 with 25 should have taught you to release. You're still holding on to it. You said in January that you were going to release it. You were going to release that and you were going to start doing this different. You're going to start showing up different. And guess what happened? Because you didn't see it come in the way that you thought it, because it didn't come in a time in which you thought it, you went back to doing the same old things. Surrender your timeline. Thank you, Tonisha Johnson. That's my girl, my spiritual sister who had to say it to me. So that's why I'm saying it to you. Say no to what's heavy so you can finally say yes to what God is calling you to. He can finally say yes to those things that you desire to do. Why do you think the desire is on your heart? You think it has to do with you. No, it's not. It's God trying to position you. So guess what? The young girls and the boys that's coming behind you can understand that you can go through a cycle of survival, but you get to a cycle of peace. You get to a cycle of alignment. You get to a cycle where you no longer have to prove and perform for everyone else. You can just be who God has called you to be. And guess what? When you start being that, that's where your abundance is. Your abundance of peace, your abundance of love, your abundance of joy, and your financial abundance is all locked up in there. So if the money is funny, honey, that's because you still funny with yourself. I said what I said. Don't shoot the messenger, okay? I love you so much. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your Sunday, and I will see you next Sunday for our next What Must You Say No To in November, so that you can set a new standard and step up and step into 2026 the most powerful. Have a great rest of your day now.